I think this is a very magical place. I've been told by Leah that she's actually read for human fairies, so it's possible. What do you think, Sophie? Do you think there are actually human fairies here? I think we should go see Leah Denmark and ask her.
Wow, feels like it's been a long time.
It has, almost a year.
Yeah.
How close is it?
Hey, Sophie. Hello, Sophie. Hi. Yeah. Okay, well, come on in.
Okay. You've been busy, huh?
Yeah, never a dull moment.
Yeah, you got a new room and everything. That's good. You're settled in?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, getting there.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I see you put out my hands from a year ago.
Your handprints. Your divine light.
My
Handprints.
my divine light.
Yes, because as you know, anything about the hands has to do with energy. Any lines in your hands, any shadows, any illuminated areas has to do with where your energy is being directed, you know, either through your mind or your heart or your soul. And so, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what's happened as we talk last.
Okay, so you want these?
I do.
Okay,
Yeah, what I'd like to do is just study your prints for a moment,
Sure.
just to see where you were back in August of last year. So it really has been truly almost a year.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. And we were looking at some areas and some zones in your hands at that point that I can see that there needed to be some bridges strengthened in your energy between what's going on in the third dimension and what's going on in the fifth dimension. So we were trying to integrate the fifth dimensional consciousness that you're carrying in with practical ways that can be expressed here in the third dimension, right? So
yeah.
I can't wait to see what's changed on that. And on all of your fingers, actually, it was important. So each of your fingers has a certain job to do. Remember? Do you want me to go over this real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you look at your thumbs, our thumbs on either hand, on both hands, have to do with manifestation and our strengths in manifesting what it is we can imagine or what we can envision. And your thumbs are very strong, and you're a very amazing manifester. I would say you're like a magical manifester, which is totally in alignment for the fairy kingdom energy. So, and then Jupiter, these index fingers are the Jupiter fingers, and they are all about leadership and taking leadership in what you know to be true and what you believe in, you know, your reality, and bringing forth your gifts in the world with a lot of power and courage and confidence. So then your Saturn fingers, your middle fingers, are all about your truth and your integrity and your willingness to stand for your truth and to stand for what you believe at all costs, right? Yeah, even to the point of sometimes making sacrifice for that, right? So the Apollo fingers, the ring fingers, are all about the energy of creativity and imagination and illumination and bringing light to the world, being the light, showing a new way, bringing a new way of thinking, new innovative thinking, and new innovative ways of seeing life and life on this planet. You're very strong in all of those areas. And also your little finger, the finger of communication, Mercury. And Mercury is also about healing. So all of these energies work together in one way, shape, or form to help you bring your beautiful light into the world and to deliver your message to the world. And so we want to make sure that you're really fully in alignment on all levels so that your message comes across really clearly. That's a lot, but we got there.
You did. You did good.
So not only does your message come across clearly, but you're happy and you're peaceful and you're joyful in the process of doing your work. And your work doesn't even feel like work. when all systems are on go.
I had one question that I was curious. Why is this part of my hand not showing anything, the center parts? Does that mean anything?
Yeah, it does actually. You're right-handed?
I'm left-handed.
You're left-handed.
Well, I'm left-handed.
What this means is, in answer to your question, yeah, there's a lot of light coming out of the center of your hands.
Okay.
And that is actually called the cup of tears.
Okay.
So every single thing on your hands means something. And that particular marking, you've got a larger cup of tears in your left hand. And the left hand, in your case, reveals the energy of how you're showing up in the world. Mm-hmm. And your right hand reveals the energy of your soul's contract. And ultimately, for our souls to be able to ascend, right? So we're here to learn a lot and to evolve in human form. So here, this is showing me that in your human incarnation, in this lifetime, you've been through some challenges. Mm-hmm. You've been through some tests. And whatever doesn't kill us makes us stronger! Yes! Because it's true. So yeah. you're on a soul journey, just like all other humans, in order to kind of overcome whatever hardships have been given to you in this lifetime. And the hardships actually are blessings in the long run because they do make us stronger. Because we become wiser in the process, right?
Absolutely.
So in this case, you do have a cup of tears, at least you did a year ago in your left hand, that was a little bit deeper than the one on your right. So this shows on your right hand, your soul's contract is, hey, I've got this. Give me any challenge you want.
Oh.
I'm getting through this, baby. Watch me. So you do have a little residual cup of tears on the soul's contract hand, but not nearly as much as you do in this human incarnation. It is not easy for a fairy kingdom being to go through the human experience, right? I understand that because it's much more dense and yeah, more challenging.
I think maybe it's appropriate now. The last time I was here, you told me that I'd had more fae lives than human lives.
Yes.
So could you kind of go into that?
Yeah, gladly. Okay. When we met last year, I didn't know anything at all about you.
No.
You came in as like a regular client here to my office.
Yes, I did. But, well,
yeah, you and Sophie.
Almost regular.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, as far as I knew, there was not. I mean,
Yeah.
you were coming in like everyone else for a reading. I had no idea of your extraordinary fae background. But when you sat down and I started looking into your field, I read the light frequencies in your auric field, and as well as in the hands. Mm-hmm. And the colors that appear in your auric field are very vivid and very diverse. You've got a lot of color from a lot of different energies, and each of those colors carries a certain intelligence. So I see that the fairy intelligence is there with you because your colors are very vivid, and they're also very gentle. They're there, and they aren't obtrusive or dominant. They're just there, and then they kind of fade away, and they're there. So it's a very gentle pattern, the way these colors show up. Mm-hmm. And the light in your hands is also very beautiful. It comes through in like a rainbow arrangement instead of just, gold or blue, which is typically what I see.
Oh.
And also the texture of your hands is very highly sensitive. And the shape of your hands is a very long palm, very delicate and tapered fingers. And this just indicates very highly sensitive energy and very much affiliated with the elemental kingdom. They're not planetary hands, for example, which are like, really strong hands and strong fingers. These are very delicate. They're not angelic hands, which are different from the fairy kingdom in that angelic hands would be even a longer palm and longer fingers and other features about the light frequencies. These are definitely fairy hands. They're very ingenue, very childlike, very pure, very innocent, very playful, very joyful, and very much tuned into the energies and the frequencies of Gaia. Mm-hmm. Very tuned in. So I saw all of that after you sat down and was just really impressed with all that. So we talked about that a bit.
Yes, we did. And I didn't tell you that I had been writing a book for almost a year about human fairies. Mm-hmm. And I think think you said that you had actually read for human fairies, but yeah.
Oh, I'm seeing more and more of them all the time. Yeah, I think Gaia is calling forth, more and more fairy kingdom people into human form because the world needs so much help right now. There's so many people on the planet who need to be coming together with the fairy kingdom and the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom and the mineral kingdom. We all need to work together, because it's going to take more than one kingdom to solve the problems that Gaia is experiencing. She's at this point in time in a very fragile situation, needs all the help we can bring, all the love and light we can bring.
So in terms of the hands that you did the imprint on almost a year ago, can you actually see a difference in my hands?
So let's take a look. Yeah. Now the prints are very, very clear.
Okay.
And they don't reflect the color and the light that I see. These are black and white prints. So I'm just going to take a look at what's going on for you now. Let me just feel into these a minute. Sorry. Usually I sit across.
Cuddly.
Yeah. Okay. Your energy field feels a lot more stabilized now, a lot more grounded, with everything flowing more smoothly. So let me just look closer with my flashlight, my trusty flashlight. Well, as I mentioned to you earlier, your hands are filled with stars, and you have that capability to whatever you touch turn to light. And very highly evolved hands, very highly sensitive, very advanced consciousness, beautiful connection with yourself and with the world, and a lot of concern and compassion for what you see, both in the human form and otherwise. So you're looking into your Akashic records. When I read the energy of hands, I look into the soul's journey, both in many past lives and in this current lifetime, to look and see what brings you to this point. And that shows up in this area of your hands, and this is the Akashic records area. And
is the Akashic record include fairy lives?
Akashic record is the journey of your soul, whatever kingdom you've incarnated in.
Okay.
Your soul can travel into human form, it can travel into the fairy kingdom, it can travel into a lot of different areas. For the most part, I see people who are mostly in the human form. And it's exciting to me when I see someone from the fairy kingdom. And it's exciting for me when I see someone from the angelic realms. Whenever there's someone coming in like that, there's a reason for it. There's a really clear reason why you've been put in human form, because this is where you can make more of a difference. It's also a very special assignment, because not just anyone would be willing or able to come from a different kingdom into human form. It's very difficult to come here in that way. Mm-hmm. So that's why there's been some suffering on the human level. Yeah. Being human is not easy. Okay, so on your left hand there were a need for more connection here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're making great progress. You have also many, many gift markings here that are serving you well. These little lines here at the base of your little finger are called the medical stigmata. Can I see your right hand? And you have it also here on your right hand. So in the way that you're showing up in your life, and also on a soul level, you've been a healer in many lifetimes. This is probably one of the reasons that you were selected or elected to be one of the ones to come into human form, because you are a healer. And this is what the earth, this is what Gaia needs now. As a human, you're able to inspire humans to also love Mother Earth and honor her in whatever ways they can to contribute to her healing and to her evolution. So this healing is the medical stigmata under the little finger, these little lines here, which is a very important part of your life's purpose in this incarnation. Okay? And these lines right here, coming from the base of your thumb over to your lifeline, these lines are called wisdom lines. You've got a tremendous amount of wisdom that you bring into this human incarnation as well. Your headline shows that you have a very huge capacity for learning, for memory, for detail. So you bring all of that in as well. Whether it's conscious or unconscious, that's in your energy field. And sometimes things may come forward to you all of a sudden that you didn't realize you knew. Right?
Oh,
Your
yeah, that happens.
kind of bubbles up to the surface sometimes. And especially when you ask for that kind of guidance from your spiritual guides, you know, you'll receive new insights and illuminations. So now we're going to look at your heart line, Sejal, because your beautiful heart line is just amazing, very extraordinary. It goes all the way across your hand from in between your index finger and your middle finger, so in between your Jupiter and your Saturn fingers. There are 4 different kinds of heart lines that you can have on your left hand. Your heart lines never change. This is the same heart line you had before. But just to remind you, you have a beautiful heart line that allows you to incorporate your head line and your heart line. So there's a balance between thinking and feeling. And that comes in really handy. Because if you were dominated by your feelings, you might make decisions that, you know, you might regret later. If you're dominated by your mental capacities only, then, you know, that might not be in alignment with your heart. So it's nice that your head and your heart can work together. That's really a beautiful gift on your dominant hand. That's how you're showing up in your life.
Yes. Okay.
And then over here on your soul's contract hand, your thinking and feeling are so aligned that they actually have merged. Your head line and your heart line have merged. There's one line here.
Really?
Yeah, they have diversified here in the way you're showing up in your life. And I'm so glad that you really truly are allowing your left hand to be dominant. But on a soul level, you're so quick. It's like you think like lightning and you feel like lightning. And sometimes it's hard to know what's a thought and what's a feeling on a soul level. In the fairy kingdom, you don't really have to separate your thinking and your feeling. This is another indicator that you're from the fairy kingdom because everything happens at the speed of light for the Fae world, right?
Absolutely.
So this is who you are on a soul level, and in human form, you're making that distinction so you can use both and use them separately.
Everybody's hand is different, right?
Oh yeah, totally. And these lines in your hands are continually changing depending on what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. But the fingertip patterns stay the same in your whole life. And the fingertip patterns are actually formed in the 16th week of gestation in the womb, in utero. And they don't change, they stay the same. So before
4 months.
Yeah, before we even have facial features, we have fully formed fingerprints, which is just, you know, an amazing thing. So that's where the soul's contract is contained.
And the soul contract, you said, this doesn't change. So are you saying that we actually have free will?
You have free will, exactly. And that's why your spirit guides feel that they are, one of the agreements between the etheric world and here on the third dimension is that the spirit world is not supposed to intrude or interfere. They are standing by if we need them, if we call on them, if we invite them in.
I see.
Because they honor our free will. So they don't intrude on that or interfere with that or try to influence that unless they're invited. Okay, so yeah, so these lines will continue to change in the palms. And the fingertip patterns stay the same. So as a soul, as you've traveled through many incarnations, in many, you know, kingdoms possibly, your purpose has remained consistent. So that's what we looked at last time, and I think we can look at that again just to see what there are several different fingerprint patterns that could appear, and some of them appear single, and some of them appear in composite form. So depending on what fingerprint patterns show up on what fingers determines what your life's purpose is. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, your fingertip patterns are very faint.
And why is that?
Well, that's another indicator, you know, that you're a very old soul, you're very highly sensitive, and you don't need to speak loudly, you speak gently. You know, you carry a lot of light, a lot of power. So these fingertip patterns are gentle, but they are very powerful. So the thumb of your left hand It's remarkable for a couple of reasons. The fingerprint itself is quite faint. It's a very gentle but radiant light. It's still very powerful, of course, because that's the energy of the Fey Kingdom, but gentle and full of light. It doesn't have to have well-traveled pathways that are just graded down deep into the fingers, you know, like a very masculine, divine masculine hand might have, that's very planetary, very grounded on the earth. This is the opposite of that. This is very lighthearted, almost feathery, very highly sensitive, okay, full of radiant light. And the marking on the thumb is another indicator of wisdom. It's the marking of wisdom. It's an entwined loop. So this is the second time the marking of wisdom has come up in your hands. Remember, we saw these wisdom lines at the base of your thumb on both hands, which shows that you're bringing forward the wisdom of your past lives into your current incarnation. And now, on your thumb, that's the finger of manifestation. When you manifest something, you manifest with wisdom. You manifest very consciously. When you imagine something, you can create it, and you create it consciously. So that's a very beautiful marking. This is part of your life's purpose. Okay. Then we have a loop here on your index finger of your right hand, and another loop on Saturn, and another loop on Apollo, and on Mercury. Okay, and then on your left hand, we're looking at your right hand, and what I'm seeing here on your Saturn finger is a beautiful marking. This is one of the highest possible fingerprint markings. It's called a whorl, and it looks like concentric circles. If you look at it, it looks like a bullseye target.
Okay. Right here?
Yeah, on your Saturn finger of your right hand. And this just indicates that your integrity and your truth on a soul level, no matter what else you're doing, is to be of service. To bring your wisdom to help others, to bring your light to help others in whatever way, shape, or form that takes. So far we know you've got a lot of wisdom, you've got a lot of light. These loop markings in these other fingers, I think this is a loop as well, from what I recall. And on your right hand, on your thumb, we have another whorl. So your Apollo finger, your ring finger, and your thumb on your right hand, which is your soul's contract in your case, because your left hand is dominant.
Yes.
Both have the highest possible fingerprint markings. And they are the markings of the whorl that looks like the bullseye target, which indicates you're here to be of service. You're here to be of service in a very creative way by bringing your light, illuminating the path, being the light, and also you're here to be of service through the energy of your thumb, which is about manifesting. Whatever you manifest consciously, because you had this whorl marking here on your left thumb as well. You're a manifester, you're a magical manifester, and you do it consciously and you do it with intention. Because you bring in wisdom and you bring in the light of love. These loops are in the light language of love. The whorl is in the light language of service. And these entwined loops that you have on your thumbs are in the light language of wisdom. So you have 3 out of the 4 light languages.
And what is the fourth one?
Would be peace.
Okay.
So if you have light language of love, light language of wisdom, and light language of service, you're automatically going to be bringing peace.
I see.
Yeah. So you don't really need to have that as a fingerprint marking. That's just what that combination creates anyway. So very highly evolved.
Curious to know, there were 2 questions. One is did I come from a Fey life and manifest into a human form? Mm-hmm. And that was one question. The other one was, have I had more Fey lives than human lives?
Great questions. Great questions. Okay, so let's take a look. So this is the area of your Akashic records here in the Mars. It's what's called the Mars zone of your hand. And these are the lines of your past lives. And you've had many, 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 many past lives. You're a very, very old soul. I would say ancient one. Not necessarily in age, but in soul language. And it's so lovely because also here in this area of hand, at the base of your thumb, there are many stars. If you can see these stars. These stars at the base of your thumb are called seer stars. So in all of your past lives, you've had that blessing. You have been a seer. You know stuff. You hear things beyond words. You see things that most people miss, that are unseen. You're very much in alignment with the unseen world. So that's a beautiful gift that will have served you well. It has served you well across many lifetimes, including the human lifetime. So let's see. So these past lives, yes, there are several that are not grounded on the planet, but that are, you know, cosmic, that are energy, that are energetic beings. So like being a star being from the cosmos is your heritage, is your legacy. And in these most recent lifetimes you've been here on Earth, you see how these lifelines go deep and get grounded here in the base of your thumb. And then how these lifelines are up here in the light. They are up here in the light. You see this? They're not on the planet. There's actually, you know, not a physical connection, but there is a definite light energy that expresses itself in a very creative way, in a very powerful way. So, the most recent lifetimes you've had have been coming from the Fey Kingdom. And this one is a human lifeline here. Prior to your current lifeline here. This is your current incarnation, is your lifeline here. And you've got a very strong prior lifetime also in human form. It looks like actually two prior lifetimes in human form. Do you see the difference in these two lines?
Yes, I do see the difference.
In all the rest of these. There's a tremendous amount of wisdom, however, these wisdom lines coming across the Fey Kingdom lifetimes that are feeding your human incarnation. I must say, with that kind of a background, it would not have been easy for you to come into human form. This is a very difficult assignment. Time travels differently. Everything is experienced differently. And it's like you're now having to drive a Range Rover car instead of flying in your magic, you know, airplane. Right, at the speed of light, you know, and traveling to many different areas of the planet in a flash. But here, you're not able to do that because, you know, we're physical beings. So you're really truly a physical being having a spiritual experience and a physical being having a fairy experience. So that's challenging in a lot of ways. But yes, there are two prior lifetimes that look human. So you're getting better at this. This is your third go-round, coming from the fairy kingdom as a human. This is your third go-round.
Really?
So you've learned a lot about how to manage this and how to, you know, actually thrive in this environment. But this cup of tears here and the way that you're showing up in your life, you can see it was much larger at one time. And this is shrinking. It's healing. So the longer you're here, I mean, the advantage in one way of going through time here in a human form is that the longer you're here, the easier it becomes to manage the third dimension. It's a far easier thing to go from third dimension to fourth and fifth, rather than from fifth to come back down to third.
So I can't thank you enough.
Oh my gosh, it's such a delight to be on this journey with you.
And yes, and you actually were a guide for me, because when you told me that I'd had Fey lives, I just something in me stirred, and because I said, this woman doesn't even know that I'm writing this book about human fairies and about how they lived on Earth and how they had to leave, and now one is coming back and how they are coming back, and
They are.
yeah, and you just affirmed that for me, so I can't thank you
Oh
enough.
my gosh, that's so beautiful. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
I
That's
was
so sweet.
wondering if I could take you to lunch. And then if I could come back, because you told me the first time you did my hands that you have actually read for other Fey people or fairies that have incarnated.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that.
Okay.
And then also you mentioned to me last time about in the caves. They were caves or cliffs. They're
It's in a canyon.
canyon.
Yeah.
Yes, the beings.
Yes.
Yes. Well, what blew me away was that I actually have, you know, anathemas. These are creatures, and these are creatures I thought I made up,
Yeah.
and they're actually on these caves. That I know there's many stories around here that they really don't know where
Yeah.
these people came from.
Mhm.
And I was told, well, that's because they're not humans. They were
Mhm.
human fairies, and
Mhm.
people don't even believe in
Mhm.
fairies,
Hmm.
human fairies.
Well, maybe more and more of us are believing all the
Yeah,
time.
there you go. So let's go
Yeah.
eat something and
Okay,
come
that
back.
sounds great. Yes, I'd
Okay.
love to continue that conversation.
Yeah, come on, Sophie.
Oh, come on, Sophie.
Stay. Okay, come on, we're going. Okay, we're out the door.
This is such fun.
We're out the door. Oh, she's gone. I lost my mom. Okay, let's go.